So when we tore apart the Tesla, what we found was everything there looked as modern as tomorrow. We do a lot of automotive. We also do a lot of other things. TV sets, cell phones, medical devices. We also have a defense department. When we saw this is as modern as anything. The Department of Defense doesn't have stuff, in some cases, as modern as what is inside of an ADAS system, let's say, for the Model Y. Well, you know, when I was in the tent there, somebody said, are you happy to see me, or is that a battery in your pocket? Let me show you. This, to me, is the biggest advancement because it's a third of the weight, almost double the power. This basically is going to put everybody at the sidelines. Underneath the skin, you're looking at this absolutely brilliant electronic architecture, electrical architecture, software to die for, ADAS that's 10 years ahead of everybody else, on and on and on. Counting all cars, not just EVs. The Tesla Model Y that we have in our facility is technologically the most advanced. From a build standpoint, I'll put it up against anything or anybody. And from a feature content standpoint, you all know you have them. So as far as I'm concerned, the Model Y is the best car on the marketplace for the general population. Those laminates are like nothing we ever saw before. Nobody's got anything like that. Nobody. And I've had a whole bunch of people telling me that, you know, this won't work. And I read these things and I go, what do you mean it won't work? I just drove the son of a gun. How do you mean it don't work? We have 5 Cybertrucks on order. I know at least one of them is going to wind up in my garage. I think that the Cybertruck is going to be revolutionary.
In this video, Sandy Munro fawns over Tesla's incredible engineering once again, explains what's killing the old car industry, and has a truly shocking admission about Tesla's competition. And I really do mean shocking. And before we get into it, if you want to instantly unlock over 100 exclusive videos, plus my 10-year Tesla stock price targets and loads of other perks, including optional access to my Tesla valuation model, join our growing community of thousands of supporters on Patreon with the link in the pinned comment. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment-themed merch in the merch store. So as we watch these highlights of Sandy Munro's talk at the Tesla takeover, by the way, link in description to the full talk, please make sure you are sitting down. I really do mean that. When I said shocking admission about Tesla's competition, I wasn't fucking around.
We're looking for innovation. So as you may know, when I first saw the Model 3, I didn't see any innovation from the outside. Nothing. I saw bad paint. I saw bad gaps. I saw sloppy workmanship, things that didn't work. Once we got the interior out, and once we started dropping the battery and whatnot, then we were starting to look at the and that's the other thing we do is electronics, of course. Once we saw the electronics, and the electronics are like out of this world, that's the innovation that we really, that's what we sell these reports, and that's what our subscribers really want to see. They want to know what's going on inside. How does Tesla do what it does? And it's really simple. They use, you know, there's this big thing you heard about chips. Anybody heard about just, yeah. Anyway, these aren't potato chips. These are electronic chips, and they can't get them. Like, it's those bastards in China won't give them to us. No, they won't, because they don't make any money on them anymore. These things are from the 50s and 60s. These are the oldest chips on the planet. And when a chip goes, there's a chip graveyard. It's called Indonesia and Malaysia. And they ship the old machines there. Well, not even those guys want to make those old-fashioned chips because they can't make any money at them. There's too much silicon inside, and there's not enough profit. The cheapskates don't. And besides that, when you start looking at volume for circuit boards and stuff like that, look at your cell phone. There's volume. I mean, they make millions of those a day. Nobody makes millions of cars a day. So low volume, old-fashioned designs, that's what's killing the most of the car industry. They can't get these old-fashioned chips. So when we tore apart the Tesla, what we found was everything there looked as modern as tomorrow.
Very insightful comments from Munro here explaining why the chip shortage, the global chip shortage, has disproportionately fucked legacy automotive manufacturers versus Tesla. Why? In his own words, Legacy Auto is literally using 1950s technology. I'm sure there's a slight exaggeration there. Meanwhile, Tesla extremely advanced technology under the hood.
We do a lot of automotive. but we also do a lot of other things: TV sets, cell phones, medical devices, and we also have a defense department, and we're always looking for the type of innovations, a step change from wherever the industry are that we're analyzing. And so what we did was, when we saw this is as modern as anything. The Department of Defense doesn't have stuff in some cases as modern as what is inside of an ADAS system, let's say for the Model Y.
You may have heard Sandy Munro say this in the past, but it bears repeating. Inside a Tesla Model Y, a car, is technology more advanced than that Munro and Associates have found in Defense Department projects. This really matters.
You brought up that kind of change, and I think it's really good to kind of see it from your perspective, because you have been in the automotive industry for so long. You've seen the inside and how a gas vehicle is built, and then now all the way to the most modern EV vehicles, how they're built. What would you say is like the biggest manufacturing feature advantage for EVs versus gas vehicles that you've seen? The biggest enhancement?
Well, when I was in the tent there, somebody said, "Are you happy to see me, or is that a battery in your pocket?" Let me show you.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so I wasn't going to pull this out. I shouldn't have stopped right there, I guess.
Yeah, he pulled it out.
Yeah.
I am really resisting the urge here.
Anyway, this is the first one. This is the first one out of the pack, and we've named it Elonia. This to me is the biggest advancement, because it's half the weight, a third of the weight, almost double the power. This basically is going to put everybody at the sidelines.
So, in essence there, Sandy Munro has described Tesla's in-house designed 4680 battery cell as something that is literally going to leave the competition in the dust. Although, we kind of already knew this, didn't we? Meanwhile, GM, also known as Government Motors, I can't even say this with a straight face, are touting their extremely advanced, cutting-edge Ultium battery pouch cells. GM apparently proud of this technology, which is, half a decade or more out of date, and still yet to reach volume production, because GM aren't producing EVs at volume yet. I do have to just underscore this point. GM are touting their Ultium battery technology, their Ultium battery platform, as cutting-edge technology. It's already out of date, and they haven't even begun ramping this stuff up.
So for me, this is the biggest technology for high-powered cars. Now, from an energy standpoint, yeah, there's other things that can give you as much energy, but if you want it right now, this is the way to do it. Now, okay, I said that, but then there's other technologies that are coming down the pike that will also be driving the future. And so you probably heard of LFP, and that's lithium iron phosphate. And by the way, the F stands for ferrous, but nobody knows what the hell ferrous is. It's iron. So that's why they changed it to lithium iron phosphate. But anyway, that's going to be great for the low-cost car that people don't want to go fast in. That's the perfect car for you. And that's going to be second. And, of course, Elon's already bringing that stuff in. He's putting it into Model 3s. People are pretty happy with it. If you don't want to go like a rocket ship, bingo, there you are. And that'll get us to where I want Tesla to be, and that's I need a car that's under 25 grand. And when I see that, then I'll park that one up there as an innovative step change that hopefully Tesla will park out pretty soon.
Yeah, and the journey that you're seeing, the path that they're on, you see that happening for sure.
The man who can predict whatever Elon Musk is going to do next is far superior to the man sitting in his chair. That's for sure. No, I'm really hoping that he does.
Make no mistake, this will happen. Inflation adjusted, maybe this will be closer to $30,000 a pop. But Tesla is aiming for 20 plus million vehicles produced and sold. Caveat there, maybe they build their own robotaxi fleet and stop selling vehicles. But either case, they're aiming for production of 20 plus million vehicles per year by the end of this decade. That's not just going to be made up of Model 3 and Y combined, probably 4 million units per year, give or take. Cybertruck, maybe a mil and a half per year, maybe even a little bit more than that as well. Semi, a van. At best combined, those vehicles will produce maybe 1/3 of that volume. Best case. So where does the other, call it 13, 14 million units per year come from? $25,000 vehicle. This is in Tesla's roadmap. But at this point in time, it is completely unnecessary. Tesla is still struggling to make enough vehicles to meet existing demand despite the insane wait times and crazy price increases over the last 18 months. In other words, this is a trick up Tesla's sleeve. When they need it, it'll happen. But until then, it's absolutely unnecessary. But to Sandy's point, this is where Tesla ultimately needs to get to. Not everyone can afford a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 vehicle. And as I've said in the past, an incremental decrease in the price, the purchase price of a vehicle, will create an exponential increase in demand. You can think about this in reverse. If you double a price point from, let's call it $40,000 to $80,000, there aren't half as many vehicles being sold in the $80,000 range as $40,000. If you double $80,000 to $160,000, the same is true. You have exponential decrease in sales and unit volume with a linear increase in price, and the reverse is also true. A linear decrease in price causes an exponential increase in demand. The difference between a $40,000 vehicle, $35,000 vehicle, and a $30,000 vehicle is enormous. Many millions of units per year. Tesla knows what they've got to do. They're on the path. They keep driving their costs down. Battery costs continue to plummet as well. But Tesla finds themselves in the awkward and financially lucrative situation of not actually needing to release this product yet. My best guess, probably not needed for at least another 2, maybe 3+ years, maybe even longer. Don't get me wrong, they could do it, they will do it when they need to, but no sooner. What's the point of releasing a $25,000, maybe $30,000 vehicle? Just imagine what the wait times would be if Tesla actually officially started taking orders for a $30,000 vehicle today. No question, the wait times will be multiple years. Tesla's not going to do this.
For those of you who watch my channel, you know that on Friday or something, I don't know, last week sometime anyway, I started tearing apart a Chevy Bolt. I don't want any tomatoes. No, no eggs or tomatoes can be thrown.
Make absolutely sure you're sitting down for this. You've been warned.
Anyway, we got a hold of a Chevy Bolt, and I was horrified because it could be appealing. Now, I don't want to give things away, but we went in and did a much deeper survey on that car. We're not allowed to tear it apart. We can lift covers a little bit and stuff like that, but we can't tear it to pieces because it wasn't ours. And we don't accept gifts from anybody. Not Tesla, not Ford, not GM, not BMW, nothing. They want to let us ride them around, okay, fine, but no, we don't want anything to glue our name to their name. So at the end of the day, we took this thing up. We didn't take it apart. We took it out and drove it around, and my wife and I had it for the weekend, and my wife liked it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. That doesn't happen very often. My wife is a very critical PhD engineer. I barely squeak under the engineering, bar. That's I'm not very good at the technical stuff. She's got a PhD. But I'm telling you what, if she liked it, then it must be semi-good.
What do you think was the one thing that kind of really convinced her to like it that much?
It's she was looking at it from a transition car. Somebody who's been used to driving a Chevy or a Ford or something like that, and now is thinking about getting into the EV world.
I'm not sure what to make of these comments. Maybe I'm reading into the tea leaves a little bit much here, but it kind of sounds like the Bolt is a bunch of old dumb shit that people are familiar and comfortable with, mixed with a little bit of electric vehicle, hence the whole transition vehicle. And I can understand this. You know the old stereotype, new technology, someone's a little bit older. What the f*** is this? I don't understand. Help. Maybe Sandy's wife has a point here. This could be a good transition vehicle for some of those people who would freak the f*** out if they get in a car and there isn't 460,000 different physical buttons, knobs and dials to touch. Instead, you have a touchscreen. Now, to be clear, Sandy isn't suggesting this is a Tesla killer, but that there is a market for it. The idea that this is a stepping stone to a real EV, though, I mean, that alone speaks volumes. Big caveat, of course, Munro admitting they haven't actually torn down the Bolt, so they're not talking about the engineering under the hood, just in terms of the consumer's point of view.
And when you get in, you know, it's got some of the Tesla stuff. It has welcoming notes and stuff like that, and it lights up, and and it has both buttons and sliders. It has both buttons in the screen, so everything's double redundancy. So that basically makes it easy for people. And then she tried the accelerator, and it popped up in the air and squealed the tires. And she turned around and she said, "This may have legs."
I knew it. So from an engineering point of view, this is absolutely fucking brain dead. You don't need redundancy in terms of your buttons, okay? If you've got a touchscreen that does everything, the extra cost and complexity associated with adding physical buttons, manual controls that are unnecessary, that are redundant because of the screen, this is not a great way to make lean, highly profitable vehicles. So from a business point of view, this is dumb as fuck. However, I think there is something legitimate to the whole idea of people being a little bit more comfortable getting in halfway between vehicles. It doesn't mean these are going to be money printers, far from it. The engineering is likely to be a bit of a joke. Remember, Tesla's all about deleting parts and processes. Meanwhile, we hear about the new Chevy Bolt here. They're all about having redundancy, more parts than are necessary. Almost the opposite philosophy.
And actually, you'll see it maybe next Friday or the week after. And that's the wrap-up video. And Sue and I are going to be talking about it. And you'll see me hesitantly saying that this is a pretty good car.
So once again, words matter. Pretty good car, very different to the way Munro describes Tesla vehicles. But hey, it's something.
Going back to like the Model 3, I mean, I think, I was going to say, how impressed are you? And I think you kind of covered that on what you thought about the Model 3 from an exterior to an interior to under the hood. It sounds like Tesla really focused on under the hood, the stuff that the consumer can't see. And so for many of us that don't have that under the hood, the engineering, mindset, they were quick to complain about paint and things like that. What have you seen? Because now you've done the Model Y and you've done the Model S. What have you seen advance in Tesla's, style and what they've been putting in and what they've been doing change from 3 all the way up to, say, the latest S?
Okay, so when we saw the Model 3, I likened it to an old-fashioned Kia. But you know what? Kia is a red-hot car now. Kia and Hyundai are the same car company. And it's a red-hot car now. And they make a lot of money. They sell a lot of product. And why is that? Well, because they took the criticism and they turned it around. And now they've got a very, very good car. Tesla, Elon Musk told me in person that he accepted that some of the stuff was wrong. And he made a commitment on our YouTube channel that he was going to make it better. And he did. So what we have in our facility is a BMW with a Tesla badge on it. That's what it is. It is a perfect build. We have no trouble with any of the componentry that's inside. It's right first time.
From the head of Tesla's investor relations, took Pierre Ferragu, a Tesla stock analyst, around Giga Berlin. After driving Model Y Performance, he tells me, "Martin, this is built like a German premium car," e.g. BMW, Mercedes, and so on. I'm like, "Pierre, this is a German premium car." I think this makes the point perfectly. I have to commend Tesla for doing things in the right sequence. So what I mean by that is addressing the most critical factors first. Many people today still complain about Tesla's customer service. And look, I'm not saying their customer service is perfect, but I am saying they still sell every fucking car they make. So, who gives a fuck? I know, better customer experience would be great. Yeah, I get it. But Tesla can only do so many things at the same time. What's more important? Driving the cost down of producing a vehicle, increasing their production capacity, or improving their customer service. If you could only pick one or two of these things, which would you pick? Now, if your brain works, you're probably not going to be picking customer service. I get it. It'd be better if customer service was amazing all the time as well, but if there's only so much time and resources, Tesla needs to focus their energy where it really counts. This is why previously, you compare the fit and finish of a Tesla versus a BMW, Mercedes, Audi, blah, blah, blah. Most people go, yeah, the Tesla, not perfect, but I didn't give a fuck because inside it's amazing, it's super safe, the technology, the features, the functionality are awesome. So I do want to underscore this point. Tesla's now able to start focusing on some of these things on the edges of relevance. Final, minor details like fit, finish, paint quality, build, blah, 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 blah.
And then underneath the skin, you're looking at this absolutely brilliant electronic architecture, electrical architecture, software to die for, ADAS that's 10 years ahead of everybody else, on and on and on. So I believe that for me, counting all cars, not just EVs, the Tesla Model Y that we have in our facility is technologically the most advanced. from a build standpoint, I'll put it up against anything or anybody.
Now, this is a huge call from Munro. For those who saw the original Model 3 teardown, they panned the absolute fuck out of this thing, at least until they got under the hood. Tesla's gone from laughing stock of the automotive industry in terms of build, fit and finish and so on. And in just a few years, despite the fact that at that time, under the hood, everything was making everyone else look like a laughing stock. The stuff that consumers see, not so great. Just in a few years, Tesla's now at a point where Munro will confidently say he'll put the Model Y fit, finish, build quality against anything. This matters.
And from a feature content standpoint, you all know you have them. So as far as I'm concerned, the Model Y is the best car on the marketplace for the general population.
Munro is absolutely right. Of course, Tesla knew this ahead of time. That's why they have literally said publicly, first, they believe Model Y is going to become the world's best-selling vehicle by revenue. Check. Next, best-selling vehicle by unit volume. And, well, Tesla hasn't said a lot beyond that, but I personally have been saying I think Model Y alone, 3 to 4 million units per year once fully ramped up. Just for reference, today the world's best-selling vehicle approximately 1 million units per year. Yes, I personally believe the Model Y is going to sell 3-4 times as many units per year as the world's previous best-selling vehicles. And why would that be? Well, as Munro points out, best car for the average person on the planet. Man, I really wish I'd made a video talking about how Model Y would make Tesla billions a few years ago. That would have probably aged well. Oh wait, I did.
If I probably do have the money, but I'm just such a cheapskate. If I wasn't such a cheapskate, I'd be in a Model Y, in a Model X. I love that car. I absolutely love it.
Now, just touching on that, on cost of vehicles, because I think this is important, and maybe nobody thinks about this, but it definitely popped into my head, and I said, I got to ask Sandy this when I see him, is these vehicles that you're taking apart, you touched on this earlier, they're not given to you. That means Munro & Associates is...
buying them.
Yeah, so you're buying these cars, taking them to apart, and if you're pulling batteries out, means can't go back together, correct?
Right.
So
yeah, nothing goes back together. Sometimes we'll sell bits and pieces. Some people have bought the rotors. That rotor that came out of the Plaid, that's like, those laminates are like nothing we ever saw before. Nobody's got anything like that. Nobody.
It's worth taking a quick moment to let those comments sink in. After all, Munro & Associates tear down vehicles for a fucking living. They've seen everything. They tear down the Model S Plaid. They've never seen anything like it. Nothing like it. Now, this could suggest that Tesla are morons and are doing something different and wrong versus everybody else, or it could suggest that Tesla is innovating, inventing, creating new ways of doing things and pioneering in automotive manufacturing. I think most of you know which is which.
And I've had a whole bunch of people telling me that, this won't work. And I read these things and I go, what do you mean it won't work? I just drove the son of a gun. How do you mean it don't work? And at Tesla, I don't see that. I see people going up and saying, I think we can do that better. Why don't we do that better? We should do that better.
Right,
that's the difference.
Right. Now, you made the statement that the Model Y is the best, but if I were to kind of still ask you, what else more can Tesla streamline and do better that's still on the radar that you'd like to see going forward, like with Cybertruck and future vehicles?
Well, we have 5 Cybertrucks on order. I know at least one of them is going to wind up in my garage, or not my garage. Okay. It's too big to put in my garage, but it'll wind up at my house. One will be torn apart. One's going to be static, and the other 2 have already been spoken for by other guys at the company. I think that the Cybertruck is going to be revolutionary for those people who want to go camping, who want to have an adventure vehicle, and that to me is an adventure vehicle.
Well, this is true. I actually believe Sandy Munro is massively underrating the Cybertruck as a work vehicle. As I pointed out in the 2019 Cybertruck is Engineering Genius and will be copied video, this thing is utilitarian as fuck. At first glance, people might be put off by the aesthetics, but when you look at what it can do, as in do, features, functionality, utility, work capabilities, Cybertruck will be unmatched. The caveat there, obviously, if you need a particularly long bed and or you need flat sides for loading, won't suit. Other than that though, built-in air compressor, built-in electricity, insane torque, towing capacity, basically indestructible, no paint to scratch. Once these things start getting out on roads and more importantly onto work sites, people start talking, showing off what it can do, look the fuck out. Today, it's fair to say that the F-150 is the vehicle of choice for people on work sites, with some close competition. I think it's possible over the longer term, Cybertruck may take this crown.
Who else is on your EV radar? I think you mentioned a couple brands, but like who else is really impressing you from based on what you've seen on take aparts that you're like, okay, they're on my radar. That's like the number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah.
Well, number 2, as far as I'm concerned right now, is Rivian, but it's a difficult car to build.
Prototypes are easy. Production is... What's the word? Production is... I forgot.
Just for honesty's sake here, they've just given us a contract to try and figure out how to get rid of the build issues that they've got. So the car is great, but you can't build it fast enough. So that's what we do for a living. So they've given us a contract, and we're going to be working on that.
This is extremely bullish. Maybe Rivian won't be going bankrupt later this decade after all. There's a lot riding on this contract with Munro and Associates. What an incredibly surprising and very insightful conversation. Shout out to Tesla owner Silicon Valley for putting on the Tesla Takeover event. So many great gems. As we knew and as we continue to hear, Tesla in a league of their own. However, General Motors created an electric vehicle that doesn't suck harder than a fucking vacuum. I guess you could consider the Bolt a great transition vehicle. It's almost like a BlackBerry. Well, you go from a dumb phone to a BlackBerry to an iPhone. Personally, if I were a company, I'd rather be producing the product that people are ultimately going to get comfortable with and want to use. That'd be a compelling electric vehicle without redundant buttons and a bunch of other bullshit that's familiar but unnecessary. It's a start. Some truly stunning comments. But I still think GM are completely and utterly fucked. Don't get me wrong, bankrupt before the end of the decade. You can all but count on it. And as for Munro's comments about Tesla's Model Y being the best car for basically everyone on the planet, could not agree more. This thing is literally going to take over the world. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And lastly, don't forget you can support the channel, unlock over 100 exclusive videos, plus my up-to-date Tesla stock price targets out over the next decade in the bear case, the base case, the bull case, and the hyper bull case by joining Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. See you guys over there. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel and instantly unlock over 100 exclusive videos, plus my 10-year Tesla stock price targets and loads of other perks, including optional access to my Tesla valuation model, join our growing community of thousands of supporters on Patreon with the link in the pinned comment. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment-themed merch in the merch store. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. Please let me know your thoughts on today's video in the comments below, and click the card on screen now to watch the next video.